Hey everybody, I have a small haul here from Jillian Vance Designs. They were having a sale, and so I picked up a few things from the sale as well as some other things that they sent along for free. I don't recall exactly which ones were on sale, but I'll tell you that it was a pretty good price. So I got two things for free. This, what is it called? It's a square border die as well as an outline, and so you could see here this is the outline die and then this is the border. So they sent this to me for free, and they also sent me this little snowman stamp for free. Snowmany thanks, and thanks snow much. So I got these two things free with my order. And then this is one of the things that I purchased. It's a Santa shaker. So you can see here inside his beard is where the shaker would appear. And then you can cut his face twice. And of course you would get the opening cut as well. So you would cut it twice, and you have to cut away the center piece here so that you would have a solid piece, and then you'd have one that is the little inset piece. Okay. I got this, I know this one was on sale, needle and thread die set. You can see it's a spool. Actually, it's two different size spools in here. There's a needle and some buttons. Actually, there's two needles. And then you have the thread. Then I picked up this top stitch borders die. This does not cut the design away from the paper. It just cuts in, it makes that impression into the paper. So there's three different borders. And I picked up this mini pearl bookmark die. This is actually a very similar item to a tag that they have, which is a smaller size. But this is a bookmark, and it has some additional pieces in it. I forgot what this was. There's something special about this thing, and I think it's something for threading, but I can't recall. So I'll look it up, but there's a tag in here, and then there's this little like sentiment holder here. And then this last one is a pansy die set. So this is for flower making. I never thought I would actually be buying dies for flower making, but it was kind of fun to do this with felt. So I purchased this. You can see it's got stitched edges. So this is really more for cutting paper, but I thought it would be fun to have this set. And I believe these were on sale too. So that is what I got from Jillian Vance Designs, and that's my haul for now. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hey everybody, I have another haul to share with you all today. I'm going to hook this on to another video, and that way you could just watch them both together. I got a haul from Paper Tray Inc. They had some dies come back in stock that I was looking to get, so I went ahead and placed another order, because typically their dies, when they restock, they go out of stock very quickly if people have been waiting for them for a long time. And there's one in here that's been out of stock for quite a while. So this is actually a hanger. It's made for their Softies collection, which I do not have, but I wanted the hanger. I thought I could use it to do some things that I wanted to try out, and so I ordered it. Then I purchased these dies, and these are, I think these are the half and half. I was thinking about using these for sentiments because, well, on this side there's no cutting edge, but on this side you have, of course, you know, a really nice shape at the bottom. So I was thinking you could stamp a sentiment. There is a stamp set that goes with these, but I don't have it, I don't believe. So you could stamp in here and put this on the front of your card. So I got those. Then I got, this is a shaped bookmark. I believe that's what these are. Yeah, basic bookmark is what they're called. because I have the third one already, so I went ahead and purchased these. You can use these for tags though, because there is a hole in it. So I purchased those. This is one of the ones I was really wanting to get because this is the Huggables base die, and this one's been out of stock for a while. So even though I figured out how to do this on my Scan and Cut, having the die is just as good, right? Because you can cut it faster if you just want to cut one out. So I went ahead and purchased this since it came back in stock. And then I have some words. This one says, "May your days be merry and bright." I never picked this one up from late last year for Christmas releases. It's all hooked together, so that's a nice die. This one says, "Just for you." It's a fun sentiment die. This one says, "Thinking of you," in the same font as the previous one. These are also in the same font, but this is "Birthday," "Celebrate," and "Make a Wish." And then I got an alphabet die for stitching. You can kind of see how small these are. So you would cut them apart, or yeah, you would cut them apart and then line up whatever word you wanted to spell out. So if it was somebody's name, you could customize whatever you're making. So this is a small alphabet die for stitching. It only cuts the holes for the stitching. Then I got a candy cane die for stitching. This is one that makes frames, so you can actually stitch the little holes here that it makes. And you could do this on paper. You don't have to use felt for this, obviously. So this would make a fun frame using some embroidery floss on paper or on felt. And I didn't have this tag die yet. This is a stitch tag with a pocket. And this one is supposed to be bookmarks for stitching as well. But you could use these for a bunch of different things. I mean, this one cuts the inner rectangle here and then puts the stitch holes on the outside of it. And then both of these actually cut the actual rectangle to size, and then you have the stitching holes on the inside. And then this last one is a cover plate, and this is for making, you could do card fronts with embroidery floss here. It cuts the whole card front and puts the holes in it, and so you could, you know, if you were to do some sort of pattern, cross stitch or something like that, you could do that on this. I've seen a lot of neat cards with this one. And then I got one stamp set, and this is called Forest Floor Winter. This one I did not purchase when it came out. And I've since seen some really nice projects with it, so I wanted to go ahead and pick it up. I don't know why I didn't pick up the dies. I thought I had. Maybe I took them out of my cart for whatever reason. They might have been, I don't know if they were out of stock. So I picked up the stamp. The other thing I purchased were these makeup brushes. Now, I purchased these from Amazon, and it's because if you've ever tried your blending with a mini blending tool like this, and have a bunch of these different things like I do, you get the circles a lot, and it takes a lot of practice not to get those circles. And I've tried a lot of different types of brushes for blending and such. I have a lot of different tools for that. Obviously, one of them is that mini blending tool, which, you know, is fine if you are practiced enough to do it. I don't really do blending all that much because I don't get the result I want. Maybe because I don't practice enough. I don't know. So I purchased these because these are cheaper than the Picket Fence design brushes. Picket Fence Studios has a set like this, a 10 brush set. It's $50. These were $13 and change through Amazon. And if you purchase through Prime, you don't have to pay for shipping. So I purchased 2 sets of these. And there's 10 brushes in a set. The reason I purchased 2 is because This one I'm going to use for my Distress Oxides, and this one I will use for my dye inks. You don't want to mix your two brushes. If you're using Distress Oxide versus your dye inks, the dye ink will clog the ink pad if you dip your brush into that. So I think I've seen videos where somebody was mixing the two, and I would rather be able to keep my Distress Oxide pads longer by not mixing. And plus, these are not expensive in my mind, since they were 13 and change. Now, they can go up higher because they are makeup brushes. I've seen them much higher, and obviously you can buy the ones from Picket Fence or whoever sells them for 50 bucks if you want to pay more. But this set is 10 brushes each, and so I just labeled them with some washi tape so I would know the difference. This is the Distress brush. I can't get them mixed up with the sets. And then I have the two that I started with. Now, I'm going to show you an example of what I did. So, two different washi tapes. This is for the dye inks, and this is for the Distress Oxide. And I first did, well, actually, this is the second one. So I did some blending, ink blending. You can see here it goes from dark to light. And I use my Distress Oxides for this. So this is the middle shade. Salty Ocean. Blueprint Sketch for the top part, the dark shade. And then Tumbled Glass for the lightest shade. So that's at the bottom here in the blue. So those are the three colors of Distress Oxide I used. I did use a stamp to sort of create a scene here, and I chose to do it in black because I wanted to do, like, I guess a night scene. Here is the stamp that I used from Penny Black. You can see it here. They did it in two colors, but that's a daytime scene. So I did a nighttime scene, kind of at night. Usually you don't see the colors of things. And since I did a evening sky, I chose to go with the dark and just do a black stamp image. Now, I did cut this down, obviously, to remove the edges where the stamp doesn't reach all the way across. And then I, after doing the initial blending of the colors, I spritzed some water on it, since Distress does that, wicking, and you can see those lighter water spots there. And then I went over, after stamping it, I went and splattered some white Daniel Smith watercolor paint on top. So that's what gives me this really nice blend. I hope you can see that. I should have probably shown you without all the stamping and stuff, but I got too excited. So you can see, if I bring it closer, you can kind of see the blending that I did. It has a very nice smooth blend, and I did it with this brush, this one brush. And the way you want to do this is you go from, if you're using three colors in the same range, like I did with the blues here, you want to go from light to dark when you're using the brush, because you don't want the darker color to contaminate your lighter ink pad. In between, you don't have to clean your brush unless you go from the dark back to the light to blend them together. So I just used a paper towel, a dry paper towel, and took some of the ink off of the brush, and you can see my reflection in there. It's I thought these were going to be rose gold color, but they're more of a bronze color, I guess. They're not really rose gold. You can see some of the ink in there. Just clean it off onto a paper towel. If you don't like having that ink on there like that, you can wash these with a little soap and water, but it doesn't bother me. I'd rather not have to wait for it to dry either. So I just used the one brush to do these three colors here. Now, it comes with all of these different brushes, so you're probably wondering, what do I need all those for? Why don't I just order the one? If you, first of all, it's probably more cost effective to do it this way. I did a second one. Now, this instead, I used some stencils, so you can see what I did here. I used some paper tray ink stencils to do this, and it's their Plaid Builder. I think it's called Plaid Builder. I don't know. but there's 3. I think these were from Lizzie Jones. There's 4 here that I used. Well, there's 4 stencils in the set, but I only used 3 of them. So I created this plaid by using these 2 brushes with my dye ink brushes. So I used this fat one here because I wanted to see how it would do with these fat lines. And then I tried using the same brush with these skinny lines. It works just as well. Or if you have something where you have a very narrow, like these dash ones here, and you don't want to get, see this dash one here. Let me show you an example. You don't want to get, let me line it up for you. With the stencil, here we go. What I did was I only used the stencil for the dashed lines. You can see that red line in there. I didn't use that fat line that's on the stencil. See? So in order to stay away from that fat line from getting colored again, I used the skinny brush. So I just went down, you know, that particular area of the stencil. So this would have covered, obviously, I probably would have gotten into that fat line and I didn't want to go over it again, so I used the skinny brush for that. And so the skinny brushes you can use for details. Now you don't have to use these with stencils. Like I said, I showed you already an example. I didn't use a stencil on this, but it's useful for the smaller brushes if you're going to be using some more detailed sort of stencils and such. So that's how I did the plaid background. So 2 different ways of using these brushes, and you can see the blendability with this one right here, or demonstrate the kind of details you can get with, you know, other stencils. So wanted to share that with you. That is it for now, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.